friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Angel and I am a queer videographer, and this channel is all about being creative, and I'm super happy to have you here. Since my first video was an introduction about myself, I thought it would be appropriate for my second video to be an introduction of my gear that I have. So today we are doing a what is in my camera bag minimalist edition, because I am very much a minimalist photographer and videographer. I don't have a whole lot of gear, and I especially don't carry a lot of gear. So if you're looking to maybe see what other creators who have minimal gear have, or even if you are still a beginner and you don't have a huge budget for gear, this is my minimal setup. There's definitely some pieces of gear in here that aren't budget friendly, but I'm gonna try my best to give some great cheaper alternatives for if you're a little strapped on cash, because I've been there. But before we get into the video, this is a brand new channel for me, so I would really appreciate if you guys hit that subscribe button and gave this video a like. And if you haven't already, of course, check out my previous video where I do a little introduction about myself and what this channel is going to be. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first and foremost, what camera am I using? I am currently filming on the Canon Eos R, and it is my favorite camera I've ever owned. This is my first mirrorless camera. I did not jump ship to Sony when everybody was doing that. So this is my first ever mirrorless camera. I'm super impressed with it. I love how like teeny it is. Prior to this, I had the Canon 6D Mark II, and that one was pretty good. It didn't have all the video specs that I really needed out of it, especially the all-eye compression. There are some widely known drawbacks to the Canon EOS R when it comes to video specs. The biggest one being that you can only shoot in 720p whenever you're shooting 120 frames per second. Also, you lose autofocus when you do that, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's actually not that big of a deal for me. I actually can pretty easily get by on 60 frames per second when I'm doing slow-mo. It doesn't look awful, and this camera specifically just puts out such great quality that it's an easy workaround. The second thing I'll talk about is the microphone. I actually hate this microphone. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm going to tell you which mic I have so that you can steer away from it. It is a microphone by Ceramatic. I don't know what model it is. I really don't care what model it is. I want to get rid of it. I got this as a very quick replacement for when my Rode Video Mic Go broke, but that's for what we're using right now to film. Now I can actually show you some things. So the next thing, let's talk about my lenses. So the lens that I'm currently using is the Canon EF 50mm 1.8 STM. It is their most basic one, and actually I really love it. I guarantee you that most of the YouTubers that you follow that are in photo and video have this lens in their kit. Obviously the L version of this lens is way better with the glass, but this one is actually really not that bad. It's surprisingly sharp. I use it obviously for a lot of video shots like this where I'm just talking to the camera, mostly because of that really wide aperture 1.8. It lets in a lot of light in my like relatively dark apartment, and it's just an all-around just easy good lens. I really recommend this to be in everybody's kit, especially because it's only $90. Like, that's super affordable for a really good brand new lens. The next lens that I have that I use the second most often is this guy. This is the Canon 24-105 L series f4 Mark II, and this one is really versatile. I really like this lens because it's relatively wide. It's 24mm, which isn't like super wide, but for the stuff that I film and for the stuff that I take pictures for, this is the widest that I really need. I'm not doing like real estate interior shots where I need to get like the full thing. This guy is a fixed aperture, which is like hella important, because what that means is when I zoom it out, it's gonna stay at f4. It's not going to like jump up to like f5 or anything like that. That's kind of a common thing with lower end zoom lenses, where you zoom it out, it's gonna close the aperture a little bit. So this is super handy. And finally, my third lens that I have is this bad boy. It is super fun. This is the Canon 100-400mm f4.5 L series Mark II. I wanted to get this lens for a long time, and I avoided it thinking that I would never use it. I have a fun little side project where I go to zoos and I practice wildlife photography because I've always wanted to work for Nat Geo or BBC, and I thought, you know, I'm not gonna buy a really super expensive lens just to do that. Through some weird circumstances, I got this at an amazing price, and I actually use it a lot. This thing is actually a bomb portrait lens. It really just gives you that nice like blurry background, but this thing is so wildly sharp. I just recently got this lens, and so I'm trying it out in different situations. Recently, for one of my sessions for James Coffee, I did a shot where I stood outside of the shop pointing inwards with this lens, and holy lord, it was so sharp. I can't even begin to tell you. I like pulled it up in Lightroom and I was like, ah! It has a gimbal inside of it, which is really cool because this thing is obviously really difficult to hold if I'm trying to use it for video, which in most cases I wouldn't use this for video unless I'm like shooting like some sort of like landscape thing where I'm trying to, you know, get some mountain range like super hella far away. There's a gimbal inside of it, which helps a lot. It's not that bad, especially if you practice good handheld techniques, which I'll talk about in more videos on this channel, but I primarily shoot handheld. And so there's a lot of like body movement that you learn and like muscle memory and things like that. And if you have good handheld technique, this is relatively easy to use. So let's talk about alternatives. So obviously the first lens that I mentioned is super affordable, super versatile. Definitely recommend that one. But I do have other budget lenses that I can recommend that I've used before. So the first one I've used before that I actually used to use as my vlogging lens is this guy. And this one is the Canon 28 to 135 millimeter. Oh, this is actually f3.5. Very nice. This guy is a little bit older. It is one of their ultrasonic lenses. It's, like I said, it's definitely older. It does have a stabilizer inside of it, which is really nice. I bought this used for $125, so I'm sure that you guys could probably find it in the similar price range. If you're looking for like an extra zoom lens, this was a kit lens that was bought with my wife's first Canon Rebel, and it is the EFS 55 to 250 millimeters. This is an EFS, which means that it's meant for crop sensors. So if you put it on a full frame, it's still going to be cropped in. This is what I used to use for my wildlife photography, actually, even just recently, and it's surprisingly sharp. It's not like great, obviously. You know, this compared to this one, obviously it's not that sharp. I don't know how much this goes off the top of my head, but I'm guessing it can't be past $100. All right, let's talk about some other stuff. This little guy is my GoPro, and I actually just recently bought him used. I love how I gave him a gender. It's the GoPro Hero 7 Silver. If I were to go back in time, I wish I would have bought the GoPro Hero 7 Black, just because that one is the one that has the actual, like, you can control the capabilities on it. I really never use this. I only bought it for surfing because I wanted to vlog my surf sessions, but honestly, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But if you are looking to really seriously film stuff like action stuff where you're going to need a GoPro, I would really recommend investing in the most expensive one, newest one, just because you really want that good quality and you want the control capabilities of being able to change the ISO or the f-stop, you know, that sort of a thing. Next up, we have a bit of an obvious one, but a Macbook Air. Don't edit videos on this because it is not built for that. But I do have Lightroom on this, and it's great for, you know, if I'm out and I need to edit some pictures. I try to save all of my editing for when I come home and edit on my desktop, which is an iMac 2014. I actually plan on upgrading, hopefully this year, to the latest one, a 2019 or 2020. Along with the laptop comes my little card reader, because obviously MacBook Airs don't have card slots in them, unfortunately. So this guy USB plugs into the Air, and I can throw in my SD cards there. And speaking of which, I have a little holder for my SD cards. I know I need to get a better thing than just a little plastic container, because these could break really easily, but we'll get there one day. Next, we have my filters. These guys aren't incredibly great. I don't use these a lot for a few reasons. One, because I like to shoot a lot in natural light. I know, I'm one of those. I try to pick my lighting situations very carefully to where I don't need to block out any highlights, but in the rare cases that I do, I use this guy a lot. The reason why I try and avoid using the filters is just because they're not the best quality. So you're putting crappy glass on really, really good glass, so that's just going to cheapen this glass, which is going to, you know, de-sharpen your image a little bit. So same thing with the GoPro. If you are somebody who needs to use filters really often, I would recommend investing in really good ones. Invest in ones that match the quality of your lens glass, because you don't want to have a filter with crappy glass that's going to completely destroy the money that you spent on this lens with great glass. I always keep extra batteries because the microphone that I use takes batteries, which annoys the hell out of me because the Rode ones just use the power from your camera. And then this guy is not really important, but I wanted to talk about him anyways. This is my little coffee journal, because I shoot a lot of videos for coffee shops. They're my primary client. So obviously I drink a lot of coffee. I get to try a lot of different kinds of coffee. This guy's super cool because you can enter in all the different kinds of coffees that you tried. They even have like a taste wheel here. And you know, I don't use this as much as I should, but it's really nice to have just in case. I got it at Union Coffee, which is one of the shops back in my hometown, which is one of my favorite shops back in my hometown. And last but not least, let's talk about the bag itself. This is the bag that I use. It's not fancy or anything. I literally got it on Amazon for 70 bucks. The brand is Gopro, and you know what? It gets the job done. It protects my cameras. That's all I really needed to do. Maybe one day I'll invest in a better camera bag, but as I said earlier, today is not that day. But this one's nice because it has, you know, your pocket set up, throw the camera in there, some lenses. It has the laptop pocket on the side. I can also throw in like paperwork, other, you know, contracts, things like that. And then the top, you can store a bunch of stuff in there. It just works. You know, there's little pockets everywhere. It's not the best quality. Obviously, you can see that things have ripped off here. There's supposed to be leather straps and things like that have completely fallen off. So there will be a day when I upgrade, but if you just need a backpack to, you know, carry your shit, get it over with, Amazon, honestly, Amazon doesn't have the worst stuff. So that's primarily what I have in my camera bag. Obviously, I have a tripod. It's a very old Bogan tripod that my dad gave to me, but it's like, it was really expensive back in the day, so it's really nice. But I don't bring that on a whole lot of shoots. I have some lights that I got from Amazon, but they're from Amazon, so they're not that great. And then also I have this guy, which is the Moza Air Gimbal. It's the first version. I really don't use it that much. Like I said earlier, I shoot primarily handheld. When I'm shooting coffee in like restaurants and things like that, I have to get in super close, which I feel limited by a gimbal. There's a lot of scenarios where a gimbal comes in handy, and I really like this one. This is a topic for a different video, so we'll discuss gimbals versus handheld later. But other than that, that's pretty much it, actually. I hope that this video helped you a little bit. Obviously, I have some gear that is higher end, more expensive, but a lot of my gear I just get from Amazon, and I get from eBay and used. I'm right in the middle when it comes to my budget. So I hope that the things that I have kind of cover the whole spectrum of what your budget is and maybe what your scenarios are. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is a brand new channel, so I'm super excited to make some more videos for you guys. And that's all for today. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.